So up and out of the shelter at 6:15 this morning. I was the only one there last night. It rained and it's still kind of raining. I just hope I can press these miles out today. The knees are feeling a little better. Yeah, the cabin was really stuffy last night. I closed the back window thinking it might rain in, but I had to open it up again to get some airflow because I was really hot last night. But no rain came in. All is good. And now we've got a little bit to go until we get to a road walk. And then we'll start the real hike of the day. So the first 4 miles were a breeze. Took a little break. Now I'm crossing the Lamolill River. Nice little suspension bridge. So I got about a little less than 12 miles to go. And it's just a little after 8. So should be able to do it. We're in maple syrup collection land. Kind of explains why there's no shelters for quite a while. Just came across a sign saying this is all private land. So I assume between maple syrup and logging, this is all private, so there's no shelters. Made it to the top, or almost to the top of Laraway. This is the Laraway Lookout. Need to take a little break. Got 3 miles to camp. It's about 2 o'clock. So I'll be making it at about 3:34. Not too bad for a almost 16-mile day. Made it the almost 16 miles to Corliss Camp. Nobody around. It's been well over 24 hours since I've seen another person, with the exception of the guy walking his dog this morning. Oh, looks like it might just be me again for the night. Well, at least it wasn't alone at camp last night. This guy, southbounder, came in. First thing we noticed, he's got the same backpack as me. Second thing we noticed, he's got the same stove as me. Third thing we noticed, he lives in Maine and works at the LL Bean in the shipping department. So that was a fun night. Also, 2 kids showed up late. First backpacking trip, and they were feeling it after doing 14 miles yesterday, but they made it. So today's 14 and a half miles. Last of it is the big up and over Belvedere. Not really looking forward to that, but it's got to be done. So only 3 more days of this. Yay, I'll be in Canada, or at least at the Canadian border. This is kind of cool. I'm going through Devil's Gulch. Got this little cave thing I'm going through. It's kind of like a mini Mahoosic Notch. It's nowhere near as bad. Just a couple butt scooches was all. And I'm going to take a little break after this. Yeah, that was a good step. Not. Oh yeah, did I mention everything's wet? So that was that. Yay, I hear water. I need a little break and some water. Well, here's my view. I didn't bother going up the fire tower. I am beat. I just want to make it to camp. This is taking it out of me. Only 2 more days to go. I am ready for this to be done and over with. This has been rough. Okay, on the trail again. Second to last day. From what everybody says, the trail for the next 10 miles or so is absolute crap. So, spent the night last night with two women who met through hiking in 2005 on the AT, and now they're out here section hiking the long trail, and they had their daughters with them. So, that was a pleasant evening. Now I'm just gonna have at it. Got a little late start, almost 7 o'clock. And we got about a little less than 12 miles to go today to J Camp. And then one more day, we gotta coordinate getting out of here. Oh yeah, I just wanna say too, after I got to the top of Belvedere, I was so despondent and exhausted. I didn't even go to the tower to get a view. I just sat there for a while, and then the trail just becomes so overgrown and messy. I was swearing at the trail, and at one point I was almost crying because this is just taking it out of me. And I was just had a few miles to go, and I was just wanting to get there, and it just brought me down so much. But today it's going to be overcast, might get some rain, and we'll just push through it. A little over 20 miles to go to finish this thing. After Hazen's Notch, the trail got much better. It's not as overgrown. Hopefully this will last. We're almost to the shelter. I'm going to stop, take a break, have some lunch, and then push on the other 5 miles to J Camp. And fingers crossed, the trail will stay like this. I'll be able to push some miles out. Oh, it's not coming out very well. Inside of the shelter. It's dark. It's rainy. I'm the only one here. Last night out. Almost to the top of J Peak. Got up nice and early this morning since I was the only one in the shelter. Set my alarm clock. It's just 7 o'clock. And beautiful day. Almost done with this thing. Got less than 10 miles to go. Canada, here I come. Okay. And it figures one place that I'd get lots of views, and for the most part I was socked in the clouds. A little bit of breaks here and there, but nothing great. Really windy up there. I actually put on my wind jacket. Might be able to take it off now. I'm down far enough that I'm out of that strong wind. But yep, less than 10 miles to go. And then of course the lovely trail out and the road walk. But making pretty good time, so hopefully I'll meet my 3 o'clock deadline. And there we have it. Well, the sun's burned off some of that. Way up there somewhere. Now we gotta find out where the trail goes. Possibly right up here. We will find out. Go! Yay! I must admit, this has probably been, for the most part, the best day of hiking I've had in a few days. Relatively easy. A couple sections that was a little overgrown, but nothing too bad. That one big up J in the morning And now it's been pretty much easy hiking and smooth sailing. I'm less than a mile to get to the border. Just ran into two women who just started a 5-day Sobo, and two other young women earlier that are just started. They're trying to do the whole thing Sobo, but yeah, looks like I'm gonna have the border to myself. What does it say here? Midway between the equator and the North Pole. Okay. So, yeah. Get to the border, and then I have the lovely trail and then road walk down. But I got plenty of time. It's not even quite 1 o'clock. My sister's not going to be there till 3, so I got time to relax at the border for a little bit before heading to the road. Well, this is it. The northern terminus. Let's go to Canada. Oh, I guess I gotta scramble up over some rocks to get to Canada. Tell you what, I'm gonna take my pack off. Alright, here we go. Yay. Oh, look. It's like a line. Just a line made all the way. Just showing that this is the border. No Border Patrol agents here, though. Nobody did check my passport, which I didn't bring. That's it. Uh-oh, I'm in Canada now. The journey is over. And what a amazingly difficult, hard, fun, enjoyable, crazy, loved it journey it's been. So it's been just about a week since I got back from my long trail hike, and I'm glad I'm not hiking right now. The heat wave has come in, but I did go out yesterday to Massachusetts and did some trail magic on the AT, get some cold drinks and snacks for some of the AT hikers. So a little recap of the long trail hike. First off, some things that I really liked and enjoyed was the first 105 miles being on the AT and the camaraderie with everybody, and especially hiking with this guy Pork Chop. You know, we had a really good time, especially when we were in Rutland going to the movies and hanging out. Another thing I really enjoyed about the trail is it was a real challenge. It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, which was both good and bad. So I had to request a few more days off because the trail started getting harder and I knew it was going to take me longer. I had to cut back my miles in order to get this thing done. Some of the things I didn't like about the long trail, it's really overgrown in some sections. I got pretty scraped up. One scratch on my arm to the point it was bleeding pretty badly. Just some sections were just miserably overgrown. Also, you know, Vermud. It was a lot muddier this year than it was last year, and every time it seemed like I got a spot where I might be able to pick up some pace, there was mud in the way, and you just had to negotiate around it. And the last part of the trail, going up those mountains, it was almost straight up in some sections. There was some boulder scrambles, there was ropes, there was ladders. I mean, some points it was just like, what the heck am I doing out here? But I made it through it all, even some days in the rain. So was a good hike all in all. A couple things I would do differently if I had known. I would have taken my Big Agnes tent with me instead of my hammock, especially in the northern section. Even where there was small spots for camping around the shelters, the trees were so close together and really not spaced properly to set up a hammock. So if I had brought my tent, I would have been able to tent in some sections, and in other sections, especially the nights where there was hardly anybody or nobody else in the shelters, I would have been able to set my tent up in the shelter for bug protection because the bugs were really, really bad. Also, speaking of bugs, I would have brought more bug spray with me. I ran out about 4 days left to go, and I could have bought some more at stores, but everything at the stores had DEET. I really prefer not to use DEET. For one thing, it tends to deteriorate materials of some of the gear. So I just don't want to have to deal with thinking about that. I'd much rather use Picaridin or some sort of other thing that's not DEET and a little more natural. Also, bugs. I brought my bug net with me, which I tend to do all the time. It weighs 1 ounce, so it's not a big deal. I barely used it last year. However, I probably would have used it this year, with the exception of the fact I did not bring a hat that had a brim on it. So it would have been lying right on my face, and I was not going to do that. So the bug net just stayed in the backpack the entire time. There was a few nights I was absolutely by myself, one 24-hour period where I didn't see another human being. So as much as I like being on my own and hiking on my own, there were times when it was just still rough not seeing other people and doing some of the hairier sections, not knowing if anybody was even behind me if I got injured to help out. And I didn't have any spot device or anything like that with me this time. So yeah, sometimes it was a bit different being out there by myself and not seeing many other people around from the AT experience. But all in all, the Long Trail is a great, challenging trail. It's only 272 miles, but it really throws a lot at you, and I'm really glad I went out there and experienced it this year. So if you're thinking of doing a shorter hike, if you don't have 6 months to do the Appalachian Trail, but you may have a month that you might be able to get out on a trail, the Vermont Long Trail is certainly a great trail to give a try.